All right, I think we're live. So this is it. This is the last live stream of this month. Probably not the last live stream ever. Sorry if the music's a little too loud. Let me lower it a little bit. Let me just turn it off. So this is probably not going to be my last live stream ever because I actually did enjoy a lot of aspects of live streaming. Let me get the timer started. Let's not waste time. So yesterday we finished at 56 minutes, 7 seconds. Sorry, 56 hours, 7 minutes, and 52 seconds. I'm not used to saying hours. And our countdown should be running. There it goes. Okay, so this is going to be the last live stream for this month. Obviously, it's the last day, so I don't think I'm going to live stream another day anyway. But I did learn a lot this month by doing 60 hours of live streaming. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It wasn't as bad, it wasn't a pain to have to come in here and start live streaming. I kind of enjoyed it in some ways. It was kind of relaxing and interactive to be social during one of these streams and having some of you come in here and, chat with me and ask questions and talk about stuff. So today's going to be the last one. I will end at around 60 hours, a little bit over 60 hours. So for anyone that's brand new to the channel, brand new to the live streaming thing, this was a challenge, a bet I did with one of my friends. He had to do 10 workouts, and I had to do 60 hours of live streaming. And I think he got the much better end of the deal. If I had just stopped and thought about how long he said he was gonna work out for, each workout I think was an hour and a half or so. So I definitely had to do a lot more hours. But I guess at the beginning of the month I just felt like, you know what, I want to make sure I do it like around 2 hours a day on average. That's about 60 hours a month, and I just decided to go with it. But I kind of started regretting it once I got to like maybe 40 something, 50 hours. A little bit less than 50 hours, I started really feeling it like, ugh, I wish I had just like finished it. But we're almost there. Today's the last day. Let's go to our second monitor. All right, so we have our countdown going, and we're going to continue from where we left off yesterday. Let me bring in actually a text file that I started working on that kind of describes what I'm going to continue doing after this stream is done. So I've had some conversations with a former student, with a couple of my friends, about figuring out a way to grow the channel, figuring out a way to grow like the brand a little bit, the Mr. G Coding brand. So there are a bunch of things I'm planning on doing. A lot of those things I wrote down here at the bottom, the strategy for growth. I kind of was thinking out loud, and I added these things a few live streams ago. If I do end up live streaming again, it's not kind of like this. I'm not going to do it on YouTube. I'm going to be doing that over on Twitch. So if that's the case, I'll make an announcement. I'll make a video announcement on YouTube so all of you can become informed that I will be doing some live streaming on Twitch again. So I'll let you all know if that is the case. If I do decide to do live streaming again on YouTube, it might be like a once a month thing where I do like a Q&A for like an hour and a half or 2 hours once a month for any students or any teachers that have any coding or computer science questions. Because I think that would be fun. I think that makes sense. That would make sense on YouTube for the channel that I have, the type of channel that I have. So, it wouldn't really make sense for me to start doing 3 podcasts a week for a couple of hours with random guests or, anything like that. I really should just focus this channel on doing little coding challenges, explaining how to think through these problems and doing stuff like that. I don't really see the need to try to branch out and diversify. I don't think it helps I don't think the YouTube algorithm looks upon it kindly because people won't be watching. I've already kind of committed channel suicide a little bit by doing these live streams, because I think every time one of my subscribers sees the thumbnail and it's not a video that they're interested in, they might think, how do I get rid of this? And the easiest way is to unsubscribe. So I've lost a bunch of subscribers by doing this, but it was a learning experience. I didn't know what would come of it. I didn't know what it would be like. But now that I know more, I think I could change up the strategy and focus live streaming only on Twitch, because I think that's a much better platform for doing something like this. Okay. So we're going to continue from where we left off. We were working on our website. So let me actually pull it up for anyone who maybe hasn't seen. So it's at mrgcoding.com. I started creating this site about a couple months ago. I bought the domain, I bought some hosting, and I started putting this together using WordPress. And I created 2 sections, a Learn Scratch section and a Computer Science section, where I'm going to be posting a bunch of articles even after this stream ends. So I'll be continuing this website development after the stream ends. I'm going to figure out a schedule, but it's probably going to be 1 or 2 posts a week in each section, maybe 1 post a week in each section. And just, with enough weeks, you'll end up with a lot of posts, or whenever I feel like doing it or I feel free. Actually, I really should be consistent. So I'm going to probably figure out a schedule to release an article every Monday and then post it on Twitter and then share it, stuff like that. I got it because part of my growing strategy is to make sure that I'm very thoughtful and purposeful with any posts that I make, any videos I make, any posts that I put on Twitter, anything like that, which I haven't been doing. I really haven't been posting much. So I'm going to figure out a strategy. I'm going to figure out posts. I'm going to figure out how to kind of like hack the algorithm a little bit and try to grow the channel a little and the brand a little bit. So I'll be able to see that. I'll be able to see if people are going to the website. I'll be able to see if Google's kind of like finding this, if Google is presenting this to people if they're Googling like, how to do blank in Scratch, something like that. Okay, so yesterday we got up to our 9th article, and I'm just going to show the Scratch section. If you're interested in seeing the computer science stuff, there's not much. There's only 4 posts there, articles there, but I have plenty more that I've already created. Actually, I've already done a bunch for the computer science aspect of it. So maybe I'll start uploading those, and I'll have to see, because I wrote them out, but there are images that aren't easily. I did it in Google Docs, so it's not just going to be easy as copy pasting. As you've seen, you could see. If any of you have been watching over the past few streams, you see my process for creating a thumbnail, for finding pictures, for doing all that stuff. So so this is our Learn Scratch section, and I've kind of made this so that it flows. Like if you go down the list, it'll make sense. Everything builds upon something that you've learned previously, or someone who's learning Scratch has learned previously. But anyone who's already knows a little bit of Scratch and is just looking for a specific section or a specific post or article on how to do specific things, maybe they want to figure out how to make speech bubbles, they could just click on that, or they could just hopefully find that using Google. So they click on that, they could read the article, there's a video. Most of these have videos. I've also, in yellow, if I come up with a video idea of things to make, I'm going to make sure that I post that right up here. I'm going to put that in yellow in my text file, just so I could remember that I should be making a video on that at some point. Okay, so let's see. So that is the site. We left off, our last article yesterday was how to play a sound. So we figured out, I explained how to import sounds, how to, which blocks will allow you to play a sound. And each one of my articles so far has had a challenge at the end, where someone can read through and, actually try to do what I challenge them to do. And then if I do have a video on how to do it, I place it there, or something related, I place it there. So just finding more connections, more ways of sharing, more, I guess, depending on someone's learning styles and how they best learn, and how they like information to be presented to them. I'm providing a bunch of different options, whether it's text or video. And pictures. I also have a bunch of pictures. I wanted to make sure I had some screenshots in there, so it wouldn't just be all text and videos. Okay, so the next article I had listed here, I don't know if I'm going to actually do this one, but maybe I will. How to broadcast events. So how to broadcast events will be our 10th article for the Scratch section. And I did say that after about 10 articles, we are going to start posting on Twitter. We're going to figure out, I said hold off on posting on Twitter until we get to at least 10 articles. So we'll create this article. We'll see how it comes out. Maybe this one and the next one make a lot of sense to put together, to create together, and then we will maybe on this stream, maybe we'll start thinking about how to create a blog post or a Twitter post that would be appropriate for sharing with people that are brand new to Scratch. I'll also probably look at other other Twitter accounts on Scratch, other Scratch Twitter accounts to see like how they're posting or which posts are getting the most likes, the most retweets and things like that. I'll also see how many followers they have and see if I can figure out the strategy that they're using or the strategy that's most effective to get people to actually click on the link or, check out what it is that they're offering. I might, now that I think about it, I think on Twitter I could also create GIFs. I could also post GIFs. So I know in the past I've seen like a GIF of how to do something in Scratch really quickly, or the effect at least of like, creating something in Scratch. So people have made little GIFs, shared that, and then those get like, dozens or hundreds of likes. So that would be something that would be great. So we'll think about that when we get there, but we're almost there. Let's start with how to broadcast events. So I'm going to think about the thing that my only concern right now, my hesitation is if I just create an article called How to Broadcast Events, I have to be very careful with how I present that. So someone who's just learning Scratch or who wants to broadcast events needs to understand the context in which to do so. You don't just want to broadcast events for the sake of broadcasting events. It should make sense. You should be at a point at this point where you need to broadcast an event to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. So I have to think about how I'm going to present that. Or if I'm not going to present it yet, maybe it makes more sense to show how to demonstrate how to show and hide sprites and then do broadcast events. Let me think for 1 second. When you broadcast an event, why would you? Yes, actually, I think that makes more sense. I think it would make more sense to explain to someone how to show and hide sprites, and then, once they've learned how to do that, maybe by timing it or whatever the case may be, using wait blocks or using say blocks or whatever amount of time, then showing how to accomplish the same thing using broadcasts. So instead of having to like do all the math and timing like back and forth. I think it would make sense to show and hide sprites then. I know at work we usually present the broadcasts when as an alternative to using wait blocks when you're having a conversation between two sprites. So if you have two sprites on screen talking to one another, you can use wait blocks and do the math as you go through. Or the alternative is to create broadcasts and broadcast those messages so that the sprites know when they should talk or say something. All right, so let's get started. We're gonna do the show and hide sprites first. So I'm gonna cut that and paste it right here. And I wrote down here that I wanted to include show, hide, and when the backdrop switches to. So that could be that this is an event. This is an event that makes sense if I want to show a sprite, or I want to make a sprite either show or hide when the backdrop switches. So let's think about the project that we would want to explain, like step by step, what we would want someone to make. So let me restart this. I'm thinking that they now know how to change a backdrop, okay? So and they know how to add sprites. So maybe I'll have the person learning or reading this create two sprites. So let me just choose two sprites. And what I'll do, and add two backdrops. So we're gonna direct the person to add two sprites, add two backdrops. Let me start writing this down also, just so I don't forget. So we're gonna add a new post. How to show and hide sprites. I never know if I should use an ampersand or capital A for and or lowercase a for and. So I'm looking at my OBS, my open broadcast software, and it says 304 dropped frames. So I'm actually surprised. I once again am wired in, so I really shouldn't be dropping frames. That makes me a little nervous. But it looks like we're still live. We're still going. The clock is going. We're good. So we're at we're how many hours away? We're 3 hours and 38 minutes away. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So I did say what we're going to tell the person to do. So we're going to do create two sprites. Then it would make sense to add two backdrops. So, okay, so we put two sprites on the stage. We have two backdrops ready to go. Let me think. At this point, I want the person to do a when green flag, not flag, but when green flag clicked on switch to backdrop 1. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to go to backdrop 1, and at some point we're going to switch to backdrop 2. But we want to make sure that the project starts the same way. We're not going to have any movement of characters, so we're just going to, or of the sprites. So we're just going to leave them wherever they are, or let the person just drag them left and drag them right, wherever they want. I don't really care. What I want to get to is when to show and when to hide. All right, so at this point, we have two sprites, two backdrops available. We're on backdrop 1 when you click on the green flag. So let's maybe... So let's... Well, we could think about the two sprites that we should bring in. Let's add text to one. So what we'll do is we'll have one sprite calling out to another sprite. And I think this would be a good place to show a GIF of like what I'm trying to create. Because it's going to be very confusing for someone to just read this, at least for me. It'll be very confusing for me to read this and be like, I need to see what that looks like to understand it fully. So we will create a GIF. We're going to create the project in a little bit. Actually, why don't we just create it now and then we'll work backwards. So instead of the banana, actually we could leave the bananas. I don't really care. Let's add two backdrops. So one is for the where would it make sense to have a banana? Maybe like the jungle or something. Maybe a tree. So maybe the banana fell off the tree. And let's add one more backdrop. So this is what the tree looks like. Maybe an environment that looks kind of similar. So maybe the water world area. Playing field. Let's just go with the playing field. So we're going to have two backdrops. The first one, we want to make sure we start off. So we want to make sure we start off with the playing field. So I am going to make it so that when the green flag is clicked, we switch the backdrop to the playing field. And I'm coding this in the stage area. So this is code for the stage, for the backdrop specifically. Okay, so when the green flag is clicked, we go to the playing field. What I want to do is I want the cat to say something. I want the cat, when the green flag is clicked, to say, did you just fall from that tree? Did you just fall from that tree? And then switch the backdrop. Okay, so this is where this is going to make sense. I'm going to do the switch backdrop to not the playing field, but I'm going to switch the backdrop to the tree. All right, so the cat's going to say, did you just fall from that tree for 2 seconds? Then we're going to switch the backdrop to the tree. And I want the banana to say yes. So the banana is just going to be sitting here. And we are going to do it when the green flag is clicked. We're going to wait 2 seconds because that's when actually, we don't even need to do that. What we could do is when the backdrop switches, as I mentioned here, when the backdrop switches to the tree, that's when the banana should say yes. All right? Or yup. I'll just put yes. All right, so green flag, hey, did you just fall from that tree? The banana says yes. The issue right now is that both of the characters are on screen, and we don't want them on screen at the same time. We want only the cat at first, and then the cat disappears when we switch over to the second backdrop, and the banana appears then. So at this point, this is what I want the user to have created so far. Okay. All right. So let's start writing these instructions. How to show and hide sprites. Okay. So create a new project, and so let's turn this into list item. This is going to be an unordered list. The first item is going to be create a new project, then, or no, how about this? In a new project, then I'll do ... from here. So we want them to, actually, no, we'll make it ordered. We'll make it an ordered list. There we go. So we are going to add the sprite, the banana sprite. Add the banana sprite. Or, add the banana sprite. To your project. What are the names of these backdrops? So these are the tree and the playing field. Add the tree and playing field backdrops. Maybe I should show the GIF first, and I could say like your challenge is to try to recreate this, or if you need help, these are the steps. In a new project, 1, add the banana sprite. 2, add the tree and playing field backdrops to the stage. To the stage. To the stage. We'll leave it at that. What's next? So once we have those two, let's have the cat say this. So bring in a say block. Add when green flag, so this, I could replace that with the inline image of the little green flag that we imported way back. Add when green flag is clicked. So let's make sure that it's also the right color. We were using FFD 500. When green flag is clicked, switch. Add the when green flag is click event or hat block to the cat sprite. Next, okay, so that's a set. Next step. Add the, that is too much space. So next it would be add a say block. Add a say block. Under the, or connect. Connect a say block for 2 seconds under the hat block that says, hey banana, or what was it? Or just says, did you fall from that tree? Did you just fall from that tree? Okay. Then the switch backdrop to tree. Next, to complete the script for the cat sprite, add switch backdrop to tree. All right, so this is going to be just like that. And the tree we can make black. That looks okay. Yeah, switch backdrop to tree. Add the under the say block. Okay. All right, so next, the banana. Select the banana sprite. The bananas, actually it's plural. Select the bananas, add the bananas sprite to your project. Select the bananas sprite and hey Mark, this is it. This is the last stream. Sorry if that was too loud. I just saw that I'm like peaking in the sound levels. But this is it for this month. Glad to see you made it. Or at least stop by. Good to see you. Select the banana sprites and add when back and then go to the events palette. So in here, I'm going to add the events icon. Where is the events? Don't tell me I don't have it. No way. I never imported events. Oh, there it is. It's really small though. Oh, you know what? I probably took a screenshot of it without blowing it up. We'll use it for now. Select the bananas sprite and then go to the events palette. Bring when backdrop switches to I just finished my... How was it? How are your first day of classes? That's exciting. Just got out of your CS lecture. How'd that go? See, this I like to hear. I like to hear the first day and all these classes and how you're doing. Is it 3 days a week class or like 5 days for like 40 minutes or 3 days for like an hour and a half or something? Or 1 day for 3 hours? What kind of a class is it? How often does it meet? Backdrop switches to tree. Bring, how about drag? To the programming area for the bananas sprite. I need to get back in the habit of having work. Yes. You get used to not having to do anything or, you know, playing video games or just hanging out. Feels like summer has been forever, so I'm not used to doing a lot of work and stuff. Yeah, you got to get your mind back in the swing of things. It's not easy. But yeah, you're going to have to. You have no choice. If you want to do well, you have no choice. 50, 500. Under the say block. It was all right. Not really a fan of how my economics class is going to be going. Similarly with calculus, but I really enjoyed my engineering and CS lecture today. Good. So I remember my freshman year, first semester, I had to take Calc 2, and my professor was like 90 years old, and just that was not fun. That was not a fun class, Calc. And not a fan of economics. Oh, well, it's day one, so maybe give it a chance before not being a fan yet. Was it the content or was it the professor? This is going to be a hat block when backdrop switches. Hey Ryan, glad you can make it for the last stream. If we're lucky, we're going to go all the way to 60 hours and we'll be done for the month. And then I'll never stream again. Just kidding. I said it before. You guys probably didn't see but in the beginning of the stream I said that I'm probably not going to stream on YouTube anymore like this. If I decide to do another challenge like this where I'm like coding or doing stuff and being productive, I'll just use Twitch. So I'm just going to do it on Twitch. But I might do YouTube like live streams once a month and do like a Q&A session for, anyone who's watching the videos or has questions about CS or coding or something like that. Mostly in each class, we just did a review of the syllabi, but in engineering, in CS, we actually did stuff. Cool. Nice. Yeah, definitely keep me updated with how that goes. You're in Ryan's in class right now. Tell me I'm muted, Ryan, and you're just reading like the captions or something. Well, R.I.P. Ryan. Add the banana sprites to your project. Add the tree and playing field backdrops to your... Oh, it's a lecture hall? 80 people isn't that bad for a lecture hall. I remember there were some that I was in that had like 300 to 500 students. My like freshman biology class had like 500 students in that lecture hall. It was insane. Yeah, 280 kids. Look at that. CS and Calc, it's like 170 something. Yeah. You'll notice as you get older, like as you go from like being a freshman to sophomore, junior, senior, there's going to be less and less students in your classes. Because some will drop, some will get weeded out, some will be doing other classes, Maybe in like the freshman year, these are all like 101 classes or like, introductory classes that they have to take. Whereas as you get deeper into your major or your classes for your major, it's going to be much more specific to people that are doing the exact same thing as you. Add the banana sprite to your project. Add the tree. All right. Click on the green flag. So now click on the green flag. Do you see a problem? The way that economics is going is just that there are 0 live lectures and it's all pre-recorded. Oh my goodness. And we meet once a week for 40 minutes to have class discussions. Mark, join Discord. I got you, Ryan. So essentially there's no schedule and we're just like making it ourselves. And we are just like, oh, got you. That's got to be a little annoying. Are the lectures long? Are they like 1 hour, or are they like 10-minute videos and just like a lot of them? If they're 1 hour, that's so annoying. Because if you have like a question in the beginning, do you see the problem? Okay. Did you just fall from that tree? Yes. It's very annoying. I have no idea how long the lectures are. I have not checked. Gotcha. So I found the economics book I was talking about. It was, I don't know if you could see it actually. What is Economics was the book that I had found that I was going to go through. This thing's actually mad old, but I'm sure that it hasn't changed too much. I'm sure you have a textbook too, though. Click on the green flag. Do you see the problem? The problem is that maybe I could put a divider here. Do they have dividers? Page break separator? Yeah, that could work. Can we go wider? Oh man, I should have been using more of these. I kind of like that divider. All right. The thing that annoyed me the most is that we used class time today to talk about the syllabus and answer questions. And Thursday we're meeting again. And it's like I have no time left over for that class to actually do the work we're supposed to do, if that makes sense. So I have to like find more time, and I don't have in my day to do the week's material. Well, Mark, I will not be offended if you mute me or leave the stream to do that work. It's only 2 chapters, but I still have to take notes and answer. Yeah, you have to pay attention to the lectures and stuff like that. Or possibly pay attention to the lectures like intently. "40 questions, yeah. Well, good luck with that. I'm sorry that economics is structured in a not great manner. I wonder if the professor like had the choice, or if they just got told to be like an online only class kind of thing. Well, online lectures class. Both the banana sprite and the cat sprite the bananas and the cat sprites are showing the entire time. In our project, we want, how about this? Instead, we want the bananas sprite to not show when the green flag is clicked. In CS, we touched on the very basics of Python, and the stuff we are doing looks really interesting. Cool. So it's a Python. You guys have been using Python this semester. Have you used it before? Have you used some Python? Or, I mean, once you know one language, it's not like that hard to. Just got to learn the syntax of the others. Although there are differences. There are differences to the languages too, like maybe in how they're interpreted and how the computer runs the code. Instead, we want the banana sprite to not be showing, to not appear when the green flag is clicked. Gotcha. Yeah, I did a little bit of Python with another former student a couple months ago. We were working on something called, I think it was like hold on, let me see if I can find it. Python pointillism. Yes, creating a pointillist paintings with Python. It was something like this. So you would import an image, and then it wasn't with color though. We were doing it with black and white, but she had some questions, and so I got to play around with Python a little bit. It was really it was quite enjoyable because we used a graphing library. It was called I think MatPy or something, Python. Maybe it wasn't MatPy. It was something. Can't remember which library it was, but we were. I can't remember what it was. PlotPy maybe. This might have been it. But we were doing pointillism with the Python library, and it was kind of cool. It's kind of cool to do. In JavaScript, it would have... Actually, I don't know how we would have done that in JavaScript. We would have had to find some library, some like graphing library. But I think Python is much better suited for you working with numbers, doing statistics, doing data science-y kind of stuff versus JavaScript. The problem is that both bananas and cat sprites are showing the entire time. Instead, we want the banana sprite to not appear when the green flag is clicked. We also want the cat to disappear when we switch the backdrop over to the tree. I think it's more suited for an electrical engineer as well over JavaScript. Yeah. I wonder why. I wonder if it's just because like it's just been optimized for like running on computers like really fast. Whereas JavaScript might have to do a lot of things. I mean, JavaScript was designed to just be the programming language for the web. It wasn't really made to be like a programming language for computers, even though that's kind of how people are using it now. Ever since Node came out, people have been using it like for everything now, everywhere. Front end, back end, web apps, everything. Whereas Python, it was like, you know, maybe the interpreter is much faster or something. The way a computer reads the code and like executes it. Let me actually see. Python versus JavaScript for our performance. Okay, let's see. Which is better for you? I mean, it all depends on what project you're working on. Depends on what you're doing. So, you know, sometimes it's easy to get used to one programming language and then like want to do everything in that programming language when it could make sense to learn another programming language and make your life easier, just spending the time. But it's like some of us get used to doing something and then we don't want to like learn something new. So that sounds like you might want to change that mindset. I know that's how I was. I just wanted to use JavaScript for everything. I think I've seen with JavaScript was a P5 library that allowed it to be used to work with Arduino. Gotcha. I was literally just having a talk with someone about Arduinos today. This teacher I was working with, she just got one. But I think she was going to use C++ or had to learn C++. Performance. Python does not perform optimally in memory. Python does not perform optimally in memory-intensive applications, so it should not be a preferred solution for developing applications using heavy 3D graphics. Oh, the concurrency also. This thing about the single thread. I don't know how Python does this stuff. But I do know how JavaScript does. And also, it might also depend on like what you want to like work in, or what area, what field you might want to go in, and see what languages are most popular in that. Um, Go is another one that I've heard of that people use. Swift is new, but if you're gonna go into like iOS stuff, I mean, it's up and coming. I would say it's up and coming. Yeah, I don't know. There's no one answer. It depends on the project you're working on. The problem is that both the bananas and cat sprites are showing the entire time. Instead, we want the banana sprite to not appear when the green flag is clicked. We also want the cat to disappear when we switch the backdrop to the tree. To solve this problem, we must learn of a new block. Go to the looks palette. So let's bring in the inline image. Let's bring in the looks. And let's make this, I don't know, 50. Does that look right? It looks a little small. Let's go 55. Nah, we can go bigger. 60. That looks about the same as that. That's 48. This one's 60, but they're a little different. Go to the looks palette. Ryan, did you tell me what you were studying? I can't remember. What are you studying in school, Ryan? To solve this problem, we must learn of a new block. Go to the looks palette. We must learn of 2 new blocks. Can you guess which blocks we'll use to show and hide our sprites at different times? Amazon. Oh, I ordered an Amazon package. I forgot. Shipped. It will be delivered tomorrow. That's crazy. I just bought it. Okay. It's all good. Go to the looks palette. Can you guess which blocks we'll use to show and hide our sprites? Just show and hide our sprites. Yes, we'll use the... Okay, let's go to Scratch Blocks again. Scratchblocks.github.io. And we'll do the show and hide. And now we have to. I feel the transition from doing high school work to this stuff I'm doing now is going to be really tough. So I know you didn't ask, Mark, but I always have to. I always talk about my own experience, I guess. I would say the difficulty. I'm like spooked that it'll negatively impact my grades. All right, so I'll explain how I think about it, and maybe it'll help, maybe not. All right, so this is just my opinion from my own experience. So I will say that the difference when you're in college is that you have to do a lot more learning by yourself, and the professors and the teachers they're really not as supportive or as helpful to every single student because they just have so many students, and they're all doing their own things, and they all have like work to do and stuff like that. So, some professors have TAs, teaching assistants, that are like, their job is to like help you out if you have questions, and to like kind of like maybe not leave the professor alone, but only go to the professor when you're like I guess the purpose is so that like the professors aren't bothered, or not bothered, but like distracted by hundreds of students coming at them for for office hours every week. And if the TAs can answer it, if the questions are a little bit simpler, they could help out. But if you get to like a point where, you really should get to know some of the professors, especially if you like the professor. You should get to know them and, go see them at least once a month or something, and like talk to them and like ask them stuff, see what they've like done, what research they've done. You could find them online, Google them, and like see what they're working on and see if it's anything that you're interested in. And then I would say that most of them, if you go to talk to them, they'll be more receptive if you start talking, if you have them talking about things that they're interested in or studying. But like I was saying, the difference between high school and college is that in college, you're really more on your own. Like you will feel alone sometimes. Like that it's you by yourself and no one's willing to help you, it might feel like sometimes. So that's why I recommend like trying to find a study group or make friends with people in your classes, study together, do work together, and make sure that it's fair. Like, you're contributing as much as you're taking. So it's not just like you're there and like just stealing from everyone. And not stealing, but like, if you're not contributing, they're going to be like, why is he in our study group? So that's what I would say. Like try to form a good group, because it's going to be tough, and you're going to have to teach yourself a lot more things by yourself, on your own. Like in college, your professors aren't teaching you or preparing you for a test, even though you will take a test or take exams, or they're going to have midterms and finals. They're not prepping you for those exams most of the time. They're just talking about what they want to talk about during a specific lecture. They're not thinking, oh, I should teach this and this so that they do well on the test. A lot of the stuff that you get on the exams will be stuff that you should have studied on your own and figured out that they were going to ask about that and understood it. So that's where the difference between college and high school is pretty different. Whereas, it's much easier in a high school class because I know what the Regents looks like. I know what I need to prepare you to do. And so every lesson is kind of like gearing you to, is geared towards getting you to do well on something like that or understand those concepts. Whereas in college, it's like a free-for-all. They get asked 40 million and one of the same question. Yeah. Holy hell, the kids just asked the dumbest questions. Like literally the professor had just answered it or just said it literally on the screen. That will happen too. You will see, there will be people that will raise their hand and try to get their money's worth, asking very, maybe simple questions. They're going to have to learn quickly that, which questions they should prioritize, because otherwise they're not going to be called. They're not going to be called on, or they're not going to get answers. That's the other thing I need to work on. I'm a horrible test taker too. Majority of the grades 2 are tests. Yeah, that's the stress. That's where the stress comes in college. And it's hard for me to tell you that all you can do is be as prepared as possible and not worry about what your final grade will be. It's very easy to say that. It's a lot harder to do that in practice. But that's what I would recommend. As long as you're putting in the hours, as long as you're studying hard, as long as you're being productive and not wasting too much time, and really focused on doing well, then just whatever the grades are, like let them be. But it can be very stressful if you have to especially if you have to maintain a certain GPA, or you want to do well. No one wants to do poorly, but all you could do is do the best you can. But it is stressful. It does get very stressful and overwhelming. I know the feeling. I remember the feeling. It's not very pleasant. It's part of the reason I don't like the education system, because I don't think that's actually learning. I don't think that's. But I mean, I'm getting off tangents over here. But a lot of these professors, they've been doing it for so many years that they just do it a specific way, and that's just the way they do it, and no one questions them, especially if they're older. They just do it whatever way they do it. There are some professors though that are amazing, that will be fun to listen to, fun to learn from, fun to that will make it make the subject interesting, and then that will inspire you or motivate you to start studying the stuff or watching YouTube videos on your own and stuff. But there will be some professors that are just absolutely terrible. The content will be boring, and you still have to do well in the midterm and the final exams. or maybe any other exams that they throw in there, and you'll have no choice but to work your butt off to try to do well in those. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard for. I will say, like, just study, do your best, and be okay with whatever happens. But it's much easier said than done, because it is stressful. These exams are stressful when you're preparing, especially when you have so many. If you have like 50 pages of notes that you've taken from reading like a few hundred pages in a textbook, or watching videos, or like looking at practice problems and stuff. That's another thing. If you can find groups of people that know upperclassmen that have taken the same class, that can be very helpful to help you figure out what types of questions the professor might ask. That is something that I was really bad at, meeting people that knew upperclassmen that had taken the same class that I was in. So that is, if you can, that's a strategy I would recommend. See if any one of your friends or anyone you're in contact with knows anyone that's a little bit older, or maybe join a club or join a group or something where related to your major, where there might be older people, older students that have taken that same class, or can help out a bunch. You could also look at like ratemyprofessors.com and see. Sometimes students post like good advice for the next students. RPI, they mandate a mentoring group of all freshmen in Calc 1, Chem, Bio, and Physics. Gotcha. That's good. It's good that they mandate that, actually. Definitely take advantage of that. Yes, we'll use the... Okay, so let me edit these blocks that I just downloaded. I know how it is, Mark. And so for me, like, I guess since I don't know, I'll just talk about myself, and maybe it'll resonate with you eventually, or maybe you'll have questions, or, For me, it was like when I was in my sophomore year, I realized that I wasn't enjoying studying my tail off for like, 10 hours a day every day, or whatever it was. Maybe not 10 hours, but, on the weekend, sometimes it was like that. Me and my friend would go to, we'd go to the library, and we'd call it a 1-to-1. And so we would literally sit down at 1 p.m. and then like, we would get lunch at like, or dinner at like 5, but then we would just like keep going till 1 a.m. So our library was like open till late, and we would do that. We had 1-to-1s. And a funny story is we're still friends, and it's the guy I'm betting against, or the guy that's betting against me succeeding today. And we still do 1-to-1s. He comes over and we'll like code for like 12 hours. I also applied for a Society of Hispanic Engineers. They will assign me an upperclassman to essentially be my parent. Yes, good idea. So that's good. That is a good thing. Not literally. I mean, obviously not literally, but they will check in, and the relationship will mostly be academic, I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, you'll see how it goes. But that's definitely a good thing that they're offering or doing for you. I mean, I guess they must know how difficult it is for freshmen. It's a huge change. College is a big change from high school. It's just like it could be like very jarring, but it could also be very enjoyable and very very fruitful for you. Once you get the hang of it, once you get in a routine of like studying, going to classes, talk, like getting together with friends, and like, doing all that stuff. Once you hack it, once you figure it out, you'll be fine. But there will be a learning curve, and it'll get more and more difficult. Every semester usually gets more difficult than the last. But don't ever give up. And don't be overwhelmed. You know, there's a lot of classes, a lot of exams you're taking. A lot of them are very difficult, but your job right now is to study and go to the classes and learn this stuff and try to understand it as best you can and meet people and network and create things. And you know, you're in a great environment over there, so take advantage of it. I don't need to change that. We'll just import whatever just came out. So let's minimize this. Where did I save those? Show and hide. I guess right there. We'll use the inline image. Let's bring in the show block. Show block. Even though I've most of the control of what's happening. Yeah. I mean, if you start early, here's another thing I'm going to say. If you start now, like for example, you have your thing due on Thursday, right? Or you have to watch a video, do 40 questions or whatever. Like if you break up like the work that you have to do into small chunks, it makes it a lot better. Don't get in the habit of procrastinating. Like if that's a problem if you know that's an issue you've had in the past where like, you know, you don't study till the night before a test, or you don't do homework until the last second, that is a trait that you're gonna have to fix. Show block, not show hide, show block. Because in college, it'll be suffocating if you don't change that. Where's my block? Inline image. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Let's save the draft. Let's refresh it. Yeah, procrastination will destroy you in college. So do whatever you got to do to make sure that you do not procrastinate, because if you fall behind, it is so tough to get caught up again. Why is this block not showing up? Where is this thing? Am I not seeing it? No. It should be right here. We'll use the show block, the show and hide blocks. But let me replace show with an inline image, and that's this one. Okay, I don't know what was happening, but we're going to add the hide block to this. But also don't forget to have fun, Mark. Don't forget to meet people, have fun, play video games, relax. But you'll find the balance that works for you. Pretty good with scheduling. Mondays and Thursdays are my busiest days, so my largest amount of work I'm going to save for any other day if I can before it's due. Yeah, definitely. If you know something's due a week later, start it now. Whenever you have free time, whenever you just figure out the schedule, figure out plan it, use Google Calendars, set like a block of time, and if you need help with that, let me know. Like if you want to go, if you have no idea how to be productive or how to schedule your time, I think that's a huge skill. Scheduling and time management is probably the most. With time management, you can accomplish anything. So. That's what I would recommend. Oh, if I saw your Google Calendar? Why can't I change the size of this thing? Oh, here we go. Let's go 50? 50. 50 and 50. Yes, we'll use to accomplish this task. So I remember back in 06, I used to plan out my midterms, all that stuff in my Google Calendar, when I was going to study, what time I was going to study. And I started off well. I started off doing good, and then falling off the wagon a little bit. I didn't keep up with keeping my calendar perfect, but now I do. At least for work, I do. Yes, we'll use the show to accomplish this task. Think about when sprites should show should appear or disappear. Try fixing the project. Try modifying the project. I was having a heart attack on the weekend because my professors were changing up the times a bit for online stuff. Oh my goodness, it's horrible. They should not be doing that. Everything should have already been set and like set in stone. Over the weekend, I literally sat for hours organizing my calendar. Yes. There's this quote I like. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So make sure when you plan, if you fail to plan, if you don't have a plan, you're probably going to fail. For each one, I put links to the course websites and all the meeting links just so it's easier. Yep. Think about when sprites should appear and or disappear. Try modifying try fixing the project in its current state on your own before reading the solution. It should look like this. And I'm going to add a GIF showing what the project should look like. So we are going to, when the sprite is clicked, we're going to show the cat, switch the backdrop, hide. Bananas are going to hide. Actually, the bananas are going to show up when the backdrop switches to the tree. This is, oh, whoa. Hide. So I'm going to give one hint. Hint, you will need to add another event to your bananas block sprite. The finished project should look like this. And then I'll put the thing in. I have reminders set for all my homeworks that I know of so far and all that. Yeah. And make sure also with note taking, like you figure out if you're going to use software for note taking, like if you're going to take notes in your classes or whatever, software might be helpful. But writing stuff is also great if you can write quickly. Writing is will help stuff stick, even though you won't be able to write as much as quickly as you can when you're typing. So one thing I use is what do I use? I use two apps. One is called OneNote. This one I use on my iPad. Yeah. Do you have the Apple Pencil? So I use OneNote for my iPad, and I take notes like that. Yep. Yeah, I really like writing notes down. Surprisingly. I'm much faster at typing, but I like writing. And Notability is another good one, yeah. Actually, yeah. Notability is the other one I use. Oh, no, not Notability. Notion. I think it's called Notion. Yes, I use Notion and OneNote. So this one's great too. Depends on what kind of notes you're taking and how you want to link them together if you want to do that. But Notion, Notability is like OneNote, probably even better because I think Notability, it's just like letter sized. Whereas on OneNote, like if you start like writing something, you can make it like enormous and like make the notes page just huge. Whereas Notability keeps it on like a regular sized sheet of paper, I think, right? But they also have, Notability also has the, I think you could record the sound as well. So as you're writing, if you were to replay it, I think you could replay it and, yeah, I type much faster than I write, but writing, it helps me retain, actually studies show that writing notes helps you retain information better too. Even if you write less, you'll retain more because you have to like sum it up and it helps you processing it. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it syncs to the writing. That's what I've heard. I haven't used it myself, though. Should look like this. Okay. I gotta record this. So let us bring in Camtasia. Once again, we are going to record our screen. There we go. Let's do start recording. Okay. Okay, now I could stop recording. They added a bunch of new features, though, with the iPad OS 14 beta, and it's really cool. Has Apple said when they're going to release iOS 14? In Notability, if you draw straight lines or shapes, it'll automatically correct it. But now they added features where they smooth out curved lines and arrows. Gotcha. So I mean, I've been using OneNote for a long time now. The only thing I don't like about OneNote is that it feels very sluggish on my, like if I open up like a handwriting file on my computer, it's like a lot more sluggish than probably other apps. Maybe Notability's faster. I really should just buy it and try it. Oops. I tried OneNote, but I don't like how it feels to write. It feels really slow compared to Notability. Which iPad do you have, by the way? Do you have an iPad Pro, like the latest iPad, or how do I? Okay. So it's 5 seconds. Let's stretch it out to 10 seconds. So we'll go twice as, we'll do half speed. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks good. I have last year's 11-inch Pro. Good. So you probably have the ProMotion. So like the 120 hertz screen, which looks really nice. Okay. Kind of want to remove these borders. Let's change the project settings. Fit to visible. Okay, let's do that. And now let's export it. Let's export the local file, GIF. It's going to be the bananas. Show and hide. Let's save it to the desktop. It is... That's good. Okay. The USB-C is probably the best thing they did because I just carry one cable for my phone, laptop, iPad, headphones, and everything else. Yep. USB. I like USB-C. I mean, it's not that I thought I would hate it, but the thing I hated about USB-C, or when they brought USB-C over to the MacBook, I didn't like that they got rid of MagSafe, and I loved MagSafe. Like that little when you connected the power adapter to the magnet on your laptop, there were so many times where someone like walked by and like it saved my computer, my MacBook Air. And your phone has a 90 hertz display. My monitor is at home at 144. I've never gamed or like done anything on 144 or 240 hertz screen or anything like that. But if I get the Series X, I'll probably have to get like a 4K 120 screen because I need to make it worth it. If I do end up getting a Series X, we'll see though. I don't know if I will. I have to see how Halo is. Halo is going to be the deciding factor. Show and hide, and that's the GIF. This is our GIF. Okay, so let's bring that into our project right here. So that is going to be an image. Let's upload it. Show and hide. GIF. And we learned our lesson. We now know that you have to go full screen. Where is it? Instead of large, we got to go full size. And that's what will make it... that's what will make it actually play. All right. Let's save the draft. I actually, yeah, I got the, I mean, no one will remember this because I actually took it down from my YouTube channel, but I bought the 11-inch Pro when it came out in 2018. And I did like a review on it, and it took me so many hours to do. But I took it down because it wasn't like anything special. But I left it up for a while. Let's go that. This size looks right. Which makes me want to decrease the size of the other one. I think I have another GIF. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with this. Let's see. In a new project, add the banana. Actually, now we can add YouTube videos. So do I have a YouTube videos on show hide? I'm pretty sure I do. YouTube, Mr. G Coding. Show and hide. Align center. I think I want to add a separator here also. Maybe I should use more separators. Yeah, once you get used to that 120 screen where you could like, you know, go up, down, left and right, and it's just so smooth. Like, it is so hard to go back. It's so hard to go back to 60 hertz. Oh no, I already said in a new project. Connect a say block, and this should be purple. Connect a say block for 2 seconds under the hat block that says, "Did you just fall from that tree?" To complete the script for the cat sprite, add the switch connect. Under the say block. Drag when backdrop switches to tree hat block to the programming area for the banana sprite. Do you see the problem? The problem is that both the banana and cat sprites are showing the entire time. Instead, we want the banana sprite to not appear when the green flag is clicked. To not appear at the start when the green flag is clicked. We also want the cat to disappear when we switch the backdrop to the tree. To solve this problem, we must learn of 2 new blocks. Go to the looks palette. Can you guess which blocks we'll use to show and hide our sprites? Yes, we'll use the show and hide blocks to accomplish this task. Think about when sprites. Try fixing the project on your own before reading this. Before reading the solution. Actually, no, I don't want to put the solution. Try fixing the project on your own. Hint, you will need to add another event to your bananas sprite. The finished project should look like this when the green flag is clicked. So when the, and let's add the little green flag again. So we use that little flag over and over and over again. All right. This is not uncategorized. This goes in Scratch. It's in the the looks palette and events. Okay, now we could start adding tags. Scratch programming, Scratch coding, Scratch MIT, Scratch code, Scratch sprite, sprites, interface, project. Events. Looks palette. Show, hide. We'll go with that. Sprites. That's fine. We'll go with that. And for the featured image, here's where I get to be creative. We're going to show all right, let's Google images.google.com. We're going to look for I don't know, show and hide. Let's see what comes up. Magic show, and make sure that I could I'll use a Creative Commons license. Disappear, maybe disappear. How do you show and hide something? Oh, maybe that one. The disappear effect. Disappearing. How about Thanos disappearing? What could I use? That's no, I can't do anything. Disappearing effect. Disappearing effect. Nothing is like coming at me. Like none of these things are like making me think that that's what I want to use. Let's see PNG Guru. Let's see if we find something with disappear. This one kind of looks like disappearing. I mean, I have no idea why it's showing me some of these things, but maybe disappearing. Same thing. Maybe a ghost. Maybe a ghost would be a good... I mean, that's kind of scary. Show and hide. Maybe we'll just use the ghost emoji. What was the name of the article? Show and hide sprites. Or this cute ghost. Maybe we'll go with this. Alright, so there we go. It just downloaded. Now I can bring it into my Google Drawings. And we're gonna make one of not inches, but we'll go pixels. We'll go 150 by 150. And we're gonna import that image that we just downloaded. Let's I'm gonna use a I'll do I got an idea. We'll use a gradient. So that will that'll make it look like it's disappearing. But we will change the gradient a little bit. So let's figure it out. So we'll go from let's go linear 270, maybe not 270, 180. And we'll go, this will be the light. Maybe we could go a little bit lighter. Even lighter than that. Okay, so that looks good. I think. I don't know. I can never tell. Show and hide? Does that make sense? It's just a ghost. I don't know. Maybe we'll make the ghost bigger, and that's... Sure, let's just go with this. Show and hide. We'll use a ghost, whatever. Actually, maybe we can make this more purple. All right, let's go with that. Yeah, I kind of like that, I guess. Yeah. So we have our ghost on our desktop, and we'll just use that as the featured image. We could always change it in the future if I don't like it. But let's set this featured image as that ghost. There it is. And we're gonna disable it in the actual article. Save the draft. I think we can publish it now. And we're gonna go back to the to WordPress here, and we're gonna bring it into our menus. So we could bring in the posts, how to show and hide sprites, and we'll bring it as the 10th item in this menu. Save the menu, and we can test it out. Wait, what is going on here? We have an update. All right, update the plugins. And don't mess anything up. Done. Okay, Mr. G coding. There we go. We have our 10 items in the list. We can go to, let's see, the 10th item, how to show and hide sprites. And there we go. Assuming everything's right, we, oh no, that should be in the middle. We didn't center it. Thought we did, but we didn't. Let's update it. And we could see a preview of it. There it is. like that. That's okay. That works for me. It doesn't have a challenge though. What could I challenge someone to do? That's fine. We'll just keep going. Or maybe we'll pause here for... Actually, hold on, wait. Let's bring in our text file. Let me close out Camtasia. And we are done with how to show and hide sprites. And we used these 3 things. Next would be how to broadcast events. So we could continue. We could continue in our next article to show someone how to broadcast an event instead of using when the backdrop switches event. We could broadcast our own event. So we'll continue. We'll continue this project in the next article. All right, let me just make sure that this is all up to date. I think we're good. So we will do how to broadcast events, how to receive broadcasts. So how to... Actually, it kind of goes hand in hand. So maybe it's just like how to use broadcast events. So broadcast and when I receive. So that is going to be our next article. And we're going to continue with from the how to show and hide sprites thing. I guess might as well continue. How many hours are we at? 57 hours, 38 minutes. So we are 2 hours and 18 minutes, 22 minutes away, 21 minutes away. 2 hours and 21 minutes. All right, so we have plenty of time. So I guess we're going to keep going. We're going to keep broadcasting some events. Geez, we're not even halfway done today. That's okay. All right, let's add a new post. So this one's going to be how to use broadcast events. How to use broadcast events. All right. In Dave Idell, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. We have about 2 hours, 20 minutes to go. Unless you want to call it off, Dave. I'll let you buy out. Let's call it a draw. You like seeing me suffer though, so I don't think you'll enjoy that. How to show and hide sprites. So in how to show and hide sprites, we created 2 scenes in our project, and you'll flip me a nickel. How many teams submitted projects in the, what's it called? The dev post, the hackathon that you just did, that you submitted today? Was it like 16 teams? So do you have like a pretty good shot? In how to show and hide sprites, we created, let's make sure we open that in a new tab. We created 2 scenes in our project. And we switched the backdrop. I don't know yet, they didn't reveal. Oh, did you and your team decide how you're going to split the Tesla if you win? Like, what are you going to do? Or maybe you would take the cash prize. Maybe they give you a cash option instead of having to take the car. And how to show and hide sprites. We created 2 scenes in our project. And we switched the backdrop. And we controlled the backdrop switch from by using the switch backdrop to tree. They didn't reveal. Chainsaw down the center. So for those of you watching, this dude in the chat, he did a hackathon today. He submitted his project with a team for an online hackathon, and the first place was a Tesla. So you're on a team of like 4 or 5 people, Dave. So if you guys win, I don't know, you just take take a chainsaw right down the middle and split the car. What am I getting messages from? Okay, so we did the switch backdrop to tree. All right, so let me create that actually in, oh, let me make sure that it actually worked too. So let's go to, where's mrgcoding.com? mrgcoding.com. In Learn Scratch, down here at the bottom, we have our ghost. Perfect. I like that. That looks pretty good. And we'll fix the hover. Make sure that it takes the full height of the spaces here. Actually, maybe we could just make it a height of 150, since I think I made every thumbnail 150. Actually, could I do that? So let's do a little bit of coding before we get back to our post. Let's go down to the CSS. Can we? Whoa. Can we set the height of an LI? What is going on? Why does it keep disappearing? If I don't touch anything. All right. I think we're okay. Let's see if we can just can you do 150 like that? Let's find out. Update. Let's preview it in a new tab. I'm going to close out these things. And here we go. Let's see if yes, there we go. The LI is 150 pixels tall. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, because this is a transparent background, so you're going to see the gray. If you notice me looking that way, it's because I have my main monitor is in that direction, and my secondary monitor is in that direction, where I'm coding. So over there, I'm trying to see on the stream what it looks like. All right. So because these thumbnails take up the whole thing, you know what I did? Now that I think about it, I think in the other one, in the computer science section, what I did was I put a border around these around each of these items, so it's not just 150 tall. Should I do that? Let me think. Yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's edit this page. Let's see how we did it. So yes, this is supposed to be coding, so we're going to do a little bit of coding. So we'll make the height of the list items 170, and we'll give the entire thing. Actually, we could probably bring this whole thing in. Let's see if this works. Right? And we might have to do something like this also, where if it's a smaller screen, we should be editing it. Let's see what we can do here. Whoops, can I not undo? Oh my goodness, get out of here! You can't undo. What did I just have? And hold on, I'm blocking it. You can't even see what I'm doing here. What did I just have here? Height 150, li hover. No, li. Okay, let's do post 311 div u. I mean, we must have had something like that. Let's see if that works. So that gives us a height of 170. The li will be grayed out. Okay, so let's update this. Let's see what it looks like. I think we did it. Yes, I think so. I think we're good. Look at that. That looks a little bit better. And now it's a little bit more spaced out. And now each one gets its own background color hover thing. I like that. That looks much more consistent. Now, I just have to see what happens when I minimize the screen. All right, so how does this look? That still looks good to me. I don't know why in the other one we had a little media query. Or media thing, whatever it's called. All right, let's go even smaller. I think right now it's tablet sized. Let's go phone sized. So I think, oh, here's where we might have an issue. If you see the phone, like if the phone is narrow enough, oh no. But this is just caused because we have too much text in each one. So what we could do is not show as much text. Where is the what am I doing? Sidebars? No. Here we go. Max words per an excerpt. Let's go down to 20. I think we were just at 30. Whatever. Let's go even let's go even less. 18. All right, let's update that. And let's see what this looks like. So it looks a little bit more bare bones, but I mean, no one's gonna. I'm okay with going less here because it's not like you're gonna read the whole article just from that. But if we go smaller, now it looks better. Some of these are cutting it close. This one just overflows. There's just too many words that are long. Oh, clicking and dragging. So I got to fix that also. Clicking and dragging. Typo. Clicking and dragging. Let's update that. Why don't we just remove the hyphens so maybe we don't get as much text because it's counting it as one long word. And now if we refresh, clicking and dragging. Okay, let's go smaller. All right, how's this look? That looks okay. That looks okay. That looks okay. Okay. This one like overflows. This one overflows because they have small words, I guess. Words that aren't that long. But you know what? It's not going to be perfect. If you're looking at this on a phone, then I don't know what to tell you. How does this one work when I go small? Oh, same idea. It's really close. None of these go overflow, but I mean, it looks similar. I'm happy with the look of it. We're gonna keep this. So our scratch one looks like this. That looks nicer. Okay, we're gonna continue from where we left off. So let me just close some of these things because I always have too many tabs. Close that. Let's close that. All right, there we go. How to use broadcast events. So let's go back. Bring this back to the left. All right, so instead of using switch backdrop to tree, I'm going to say broadcast event. I'm just going to say I don't want my sprites to control. I don't want the sprites to control the backdrop. So that's what I'm going to discuss here in this article. In how to show and hide sprites, we created 2 scenes in our project. and we controlled the backdrop switch by in the cat sprite. Maybe I should take a screenshot of this. Not a screenshot. Yes, let's create this in Scratch blocks. When green flag clicked, show say for 2 seconds. Did you? Oh, whoops! I gotta use square brackets. Did you just fall from that tree? Switch backdrop to tree. Hide. Did you just fall from that tree for 2 seconds? Perfect. Let's export it. Now let's bring it into our Google Drawings so we can crop it. There it is. And now we can crop it down to normal size. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I could actually like manipulate it. There we go. All right, let's save this as the cat. Cat in banana. No. Sprite switching backdrop. Cat sprite switching backdrop. Let's export that. So now we can bring it in to our project right here. See below. And we could add it just below this. Make sure it is centered. The script in the cat block. Cat sprite. Okay. All right. We control the backdrops. We controlled the backdrop switch in the cat sprite. See below. When the green flag, I'm just going to describe what's happening here. Actually, no. I'm going to say see below on line 1, 2, 3, 4. But people might not know that that's line 4. So I'll just say see below. Figure it out. Find it. We created 2 scenes in our project and we controlled the backdrop switch. In the cat sprite. However, so let's say, however, we may want to keep all of the backdrop switching logic inside of the programming area for the stage backdrop instead. The reason for this is because if we have multiple sprites, 10 or more, controlling the backdrops, it can become very difficult to know or to debug if the project doesn't work correctly. Instead, we can send a message from the cat sprite to all sprites, including to all sprites and the stage. A message event, I'm going to call it, known as a broadcast from the cat sprite to all of the sprites and the stage. All right, let me read through that and see if that makes sense. In how to show and hide sprites, we created 2 scenes. We controlled the backdrop switch with the cat sprite. However, we may want to keep all the backdrop, the backdrop switching. Maybe I'll just say code inside of the programming area for the stage or backdrop instead. The reason for this is we don't need a comma. The reason for this is because if we have, it's kind of awkward. The reason for this is because if we have, how about, let me reword this. Okay, so suppose, no, I'll just say if we have multiple sprites controlling the backdrops, it can become very difficult to, if we have multiple sprites controlling the backdrops, it can become very difficult to debug. It can become very difficult to debug the project. Instead, we can send a message event known as a broadcast from the cat sprites to all of the sprites and the stage. We can create our own event hat blocks to listen to that message as well. Actually, I think all of this should go underneath that image, because I did say see below. There we go. However, we made known as a broadcast. Let's change the color to, I guess, this yellow. Or orange, whatever that is. Event as well. So I know I have a good video on this. So let's go to YouTube. Go to my channel. And we are going to go to the how to broadcast that. Let me throw it in here, but I think I'm gonna have to move it somewhere else. Okay. Replace the switch backdrop to tree How about, okay, so open the, where is the events palette? So open the events palette. So that's going to be an inline image. Or is it control? Where is the, where do we, yes, events palette. Open the events palette and drag, so what block is that? The broadcast block. Broadcast message 1 block. Does that look right? Yeah, broadcast message 1. All right, let me write it and then we'll decide. Open the events palette and drag the into the programming area for the cat. Click on the drop down that says message 1 and replace it with switch backdrop to tree. Actually, maybe I should name it something else. We should name it, or I'll just say tree backdrop. Switch to tree. Actually, we'll just keep it like that. With your new event block. Next, go to the stage backdrop section. The stage backdrops programming area. Next, okay, so first, next select the stage area at the bottom right of the interface, of the Scratch interface. Go to the, and select the, again, it's going to be the events palette. So we're going to select this and go to the events palette. Inline image, event, where are you at? There you are. Events palette once again. Find the, look for the hat block. That can, look for the hat block named when I receive. When I receive message 1. FFD 500. And this, the inputs I make black. Okay. Select the stage area at the bottom right of the Scratch interface. Go to the... And maybe I'll take a screenshot here. No, we're not going to use that one. We're going to make this, shrink this up a little bit. I'm going to call that the stage area. Show in Finder. Actually, we're going to bring it into Google Drawings. And insert an arrow, stage area. Hold on 1 second, I have a phone call. Hello? All right, all good. So red, 2 pixels, the stage area, that's good. I think that looks pretty good, right? Yes, we're gonna go with that. So that's called the stage area. And we're going to bring it into our project here. See below. We'll add it right here. Stage area. Broadcast message 1 block. So let's we're gonna create that. We did, but we're now going to crop it a little bit in Google Drawings. So let's import that, which we just downloaded. There it is. Okay, that looks good. This is going to be the broadcast message 1 block. I'll just say broadcast block. Downloaded. I have so many images in my on my desktop, it's not even funny. But now we could replace this right here with an inline image. Drag the broadcast message 1 block into the programming area. Click on the drop down that says message 1 and select new message. Right? How do you do that? You click on the broadcast, it says message 1 and select new message, lowercase m for message. enter. Let's name the broadcast message to switch to tree. Replace the switch backdrop to tree with your new event block. Actually, so let's make that block. So that's going to say switch to tree. Downloaded that, and we're going to replace the switch backdrop to tree block is that it? Yeah, switch backdrop to tree, but the tree is in that. Okay, there we go. Let's go back to our Google Classroom. Sorry, Google Drawings. We're going to create 2 blocks. This is going to be our new, we'll figure out what we call it. Upload from computer. Let's upload 13 and 14 in this one. 13 and 14. Okay, put it at the top left. So we'll call this the broadcast switch to tree block. And this will be the switch backdrop to tree block. We're trying to get it. All right, that's good enough. Same thing here. We're going to try to decrease the size of this block to that. That looks good enough. All right, let's download both of these as PNGs. Switch backdrop to tree and broadcast switch to tree. So switch backdrop to tree. And that is going to be an inline image called switch backdrop to tree. That's this one. With your new event block, and then here I'll just insert it. What did I call it? Broadcast. Broadcast switch to tree. There we go. When I receive switch to tree. Okay, no. Actually no. Bring this into your programming area. We'll go with this. So let's move this below. Insert after. Oh. Select the events palette. Inline image, we're going to bring in the events. Palette. Once again. This can be deleted. Look for the hat block named when I receive message 1. And this is going to be black. Bring this into your programming area. Select the drop down and change it to switch to tree. You've just created an event hat block that can detect whenever the message is broadcast by any other sprite or backdrop. By any other sprite or the backdrop itself. Why does it say palette here? Let me insert a separator after. Okay. Fix your code so that the backdrop is changed when the stage receives the message. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. It's kind of a lot already. I'll just think about it and make sure that this is all good, and we'll leave it at that. Thumbnail full size. Why can't I? Alright, whatever. This is not uncategorized. This is going to be Scratch. Events palette. I mean, we have some in the looks. That's pretty much it. Tags. Scratch. I'm going to do a lot of scratching here. Backdrops. Sound blocks. Backdrop. Interface. Project. Scratch events. Scratch event. Maybe events. Event blocks. Broadcast blocks. Scratch broadcast. That's good enough. Now we just need a featured image, broadcast event. So once again, I'm going to probably going to use this thing. I kind of like this image here. Problem is, it's not a perfect square. You know what? Let's try that again. Let's delete that. We'll try again. If it was a perfect square, it'd be like right here. I mean, it's close enough. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's go back to our Google Drawings. Downloads, that's going to go in. No, sorry, that was a screenshot, so it's going to be in our desktop. There it is. Let me cut that. Let's paste it in a 150 by 150 window. Whoa. Way too big. maybe we could do this and then create a block over here. Make it all dark and just fill it in. Maybe this is the, I don't know, the dish. Do I like that though? We'll do PNG Guru. Maybe we'll use the same one. Actually, we'll use the same. I could use this. No. I was going to say signal or like wave. Not this kind of a wave, but like an acoustic wave, but maybe like this. We'll use this. And the reason I'm using this is because I want to put it in here and make it white. Where did that save? Probably in the downloads. PNG Guru there. Where is it? Maybe it's in desktop? PNG Guru, there it is. Alright, right now it's black, but we can recolor it. Recolor it and make it white. And now I'm gonna crop this. It kind of reminds me of the movie Contact. If anyone's ever seen the movie Contact, Carl Sagan, great movie. Great movie. We'll go with that. I don't know if anyone will get it, but we'll use that. We'll use that dish as the featured image for our broadcasts. So that is going to go right over here. Set featured image. Upload the dish. Satellite dish. Set the featured image. We're not going to show it, so we're going to disable the featured image here. And I think we're good. Let's just publish it and go back to our WordPress, change the menus, and add this article to WordPress. So this is a post, how to use broadcast events, that we can now bring right here. It's going to be our 11th article. So how to use broadcast events. Saved, and now we can see it, check it out for ourselves. Click on Learn Scratch, and it's the last item. Pretty nice, pretty cool. If I click it, let's just see what the article looks like. Good enough for me. And it links to the previous article. So that's nice for people who maybe didn't read this one, because this is a continuation of the other one. So it just makes sense to have them to have that there. Okay, there we go. So now we are at 11 articles. I wonder how it'll look if we have like 15. I mean, how will the person scroll through this list? I guess we'll find out eventually, but for now we're not there yet. We'll get there when we're older. So how to use broadcast events. So we have the broadcast block and the when I receive block, and I have the YouTube video of me explaining those things. We are good. We're golden. All right. What do I want to do next? How much time do we have? We're at 58 hours, 26 minutes, 20 seconds. So we have about an hour and a half to go. An hour and 30 something minutes. Wow, time is flying. So that article took about, I think, 45-ish minutes or so. But, you know, we could maybe work on, I mean, I guess we could post another one. let's think about it. So once someone knows how to broadcast an event, I mean, once they know that, they pretty much know everything else. I mean, I think I almost want to call these like the basics. These are the absolute basics. Maybe I'll create a category called the basics, and then maybe have like an well, the thing is, some of these aren't. I think once you've mastered this, you could pretty much make anything. Then there's ones that are a little bit more specific for specific categories. So for example, let's say someone wants to resize their sprite. That's like a very, it's a very small edge case, I guess. But it could, we could create an article on that. So maybe I'll think about the categories now that I might want to target. So that is like our beginner to, I mean, everything we just did, I think, is like all we need. Everything we just did is all someone would need to be able to create almost anything. So everything else now is just like gravy. So I would probably focus on the different palettes. Actually, no, someone would really, I think for a beginner / intermediate, everything I just went over is enough. But now if we want to go a little bit more advanced, then okay, so let's break this up. So let's say this is the beginner. Then intermediate, beginner to intermediate. And now for an advanced user, here's where I'm going to go into like, how to create your own blocks. How to create your own blocks. We're going to go into variable. Actually, before we even get to how to create your own blocks, we're going to do variables. Advanced users are going to use, they're going to use this. What's this called? Import. I'm blocking it right now. Add extensions. So adding extensions. I think loops are also, see, but then I don't want to call it beginner intermediate because loops should be in the beginner intermediate section. I mean, this is all like Scratch specific stuff. I'll have to think about it. How am I going to where am I going to introduce loops? Or maybe all this is just the beginner and then intermediate would be like loops. Something like that. Or instead of beginner, maybe it's like just starting out, something like that. Loops, conditionals. So we're gonna have, so the loops is gonna be the repeat block, the forever block, the repeat until block. Conditionals is gonna be the if, else, wait until, kind of. Wait until is kind of like a conditional. Repeat until was in our loops. Clones, that's going to be advanced. How to clone a sprite and when to. And when it makes sense to do so. All right, so wow, there's a lot more topics we could create and a lot more sections we could make from this. But let's start with this. Let's start with writing everything down. We're gonna throw everything on the board here. Text to speech, I would say, is intermediate. It's not like an advanced thing. So how to enable text to speech. How to create your own blocks, I would say, is advanced. How to change the direction the sprite faces. How to change the sprite direction, the sprite's direction. So that's also intermediate. A beginner is not going to be worrying about the sprites, like the way it's facing. It just, they won't care. How to get user inputs. That ties into variables. I kind of want to make that intermediate then. Adding extensions, how to clone a sprite. Operators also can make sense. Randomness. How to use random. How to get random numbers. Operators. Geez, there's so much. So much I could write about. Variables. Lists are definitely advanced. Even variables are a little bit advanced. But I need to do it intermediate because yeah, we'll do that. We'll keep variables as intermediates. And we'll also need the predicates. So the blocks that have the hexagonal shape that look like that, those are the ones that we use in our conditionals. So we are going to put that in there. Which are found in, well, I mean, some of them are in operators. Or maybe I could do how to do math. How to do math in Scratch. But that should not come first. They first need to understand variables a little bit. Or how to get user input. Once they got user input, we could create like a simple little project where it's like, you know, give me the first number, give me the second number, I'll add it for you. And then that will be intermediate. How to do math in Scratch. And or Boolean, they're called Boolean operators. Everything that's has a hexagonal shape reports back or returns true or false. So that is why it's called a Boolean operator, because Boolean values are either true or false. What's next? Let me see. When space keys so these are still Boolean operators that go in conditionals. So I can have I can continue from there. The ask block. Wait block. I mean, we've already covered when stage clicked is actually an I'd never even used that. I don't really feel like going into like the different effects for the pitch or for the looks. Like this doesn't really interest me to talk about. Actually makes it look very like Doom-like or Minecraft-y like. It's kind of cool. Let's depixelated. Can we do that? Yes. Oh, that would actually be cool to do a transition. You could do like a pixelation kind of transition. Okay. Set pixelate to 0. Oh, I still have my fisheye. Set fisheye to 0. Maybe, actually, you know what? Maybe we could do a cool effects. And that'll be more, I'll say that's more advanced. The effects. So the ones in looks. Sound. Graphical effects. How to use graphical effects. How to use sound effects. But that sounds weird. That's fine. I guess we can use that. We can leave it at that. But there's like the volume, all that stuff. Okay. Whoa, I should look at the sprites because there are there's a lot more here. What time is it? It's 8:20. Okay, so that's not bad. We have 1 hour and 22 minutes to go, and it is 8:20. So we have just about 3 hours and 40 minutes. So 1 hour 20, 3 hour 40 ish. So we'll make it. We'll make it by midnight as long as we don't stop. As long as the internet doesn't go down and Spectrum goes crazy. Although if the internet goes down, I will be switching over to my hotspot and using that. What do you got? Okay. Sure. I am streaming. Don't distract me. If on edge bounce. No, I mean this is. Oh, okay. Why am I so tired? Control sensing. When I start as clone, oh my goodness, there are even more events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. Oh, so there's one more event that I haven't shown them or we haven't discussed. Using maybe reporter blocks. That I might use that's intermediate. Using reporter blocks. So that's going to be like the rounded sides blocks. With rounded sides. All right, so we have our work cut out for us for the future. I'm probably not going to do this. How to use events. Website post. I think some of the articles. So let me remove that. I want to take a break, but I don't want to risk like losing. You know what? I think I'm going to take a break. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a quick, maybe 30-minute break, and we'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern time to finish the last 1 hour and 19 minutes. So I will see you all soon.